everybody, and welcome to the Geeking Out at the Tower podcast. I'm your host, Andrew, and today I'm joined by
Kevin,
Seb,
and Ali.
All right, and in today's episode will be an extended Geeking Around segment. But before we get to that, let's talk about the news. So there was a teaser countdown to the Jurassic World trailer that was put up on their website recently. Any thoughts?
it's fantastic. It's amazing. It goes really deep and into the company that bought InGen, if you know more or less the story behind Jurassic Park.
Yes, so this is
If you've watched the movies or read the book.
This is a sequel to
Jurassic Park 3.
Was it Jurassic Park 3? I thought it had a different title.
No,
Lost World was the second one.
Yeah, well, there was never
there was a title for the
No, it's Jurassic Park.
Really?
Claw Scratch 3.
Yeah.
Oh, horrible. Jurassic World. I think the website had been up before that. It's just now that there's going to be a trailer next week. I think at last count there were 7 days until the trailer, so next Thursday as of this recording's date. Also, they are releasing a DBZ movie for
November.
No, is it November?
I can't remember.
Anyway, there's a DBZ movie coming out, and guess who's back? Frieza!
He's gonna be weak as shit.
F is for resurrection. Well, in Japanese it works a lot better. But
Yeah, that's one of the things that we're mentioning, how it makes no sense how the F is there, but I think when they translate it, they'll use the F for Frieza or something like that. Apparently.
Well, in Japanese, the title is Fukatsu no F, which translates to F is for resurrection.
Yeah.
Because, Frieza, F,
Yes.
Fukatsu, resurrection. It all works!
What I've been reading about it is that Goku's actually not going to be the main focus as much in this. It's actually going to be not Frieza, but Vegeta as well. So it's going to be an interesting movie to see that Vegeta kind of gets his revenge against Frieza and
Time.
Well, especially since he's been kind of Frieza destroyed his homeworld. Frieza caused all the problems.
Well, the Saiyans brought it
so,
on themselves.
So that'll be interesting. In the poster too, they show images of the God of Destruction from the last movie. It'll be interesting how they play this out. The God of Destruction did mention Frieza in the previous movie, mentioning that.
Spoiler alert.
If you haven't seen the last movie, it's not that bad. I enjoyed it, but it's definitely not one of the better movies, but I like the action of it and the art. But in the last movie, the God of Destruction kind of makes a premise of talking about Frieza, but then it gets shredded off and it goes through the movie. So it's interesting that they're going to bring the God of Destruction back. So we'll see how that plays out, how the movie goes, if it ends up being the same level as the last one. Hopefully
So, from what I'm hearing is it's going to be an even longer extended sequence of Vegeta getting his ass kicked before Goku comes and saves the day.
No, well, from what I've checked, and who knows, maybe the story will change, but I think it's going to be Vegeta who's going to be involved, I guess most of the fighting or whatever, and probably it's going to be that he becomes the kind of God Saiyan as well, especially since the God of Destruction is going to be there too, so who knows. Again, it's all speculation at this point.
This could be interesting, but we'll see.
I'll definitely go see it.
It's a 2015 release date, and I think in Japan, so hopefully later 2015 in North America. I'll give it a shot. Why not?
Although the other one, the dub version got released fairly quickly too from the...
It was a few months. It was still a few months.
Yeah, but before it was almost a year waiting for these things.
Well, yeah, times have changed.
Exactly.
I'll put it this way. At least it's written by Toriyama, but, I thought he was done with Dragon Ball. What?
It's canon.
It's canon. It's official canon, and apparently there is enough money that he was willing to take to continue the Dragon Ball story.
But it'd be interesting if this will lead to actually more work of Dragon Ball.
Oh no, he has several other movies planned. It was pretty much he signed a multi-movie deal, I think.
Oh, well, then,
with the company. When they talked about War of the Gods, that was something that was mentioned that he was going to do at least a few more.
That's
and it
interesting.
Reignited his appetite for writing more Dragon Ball. So
cool.
So we'll see about that. And on a light note to kind of end things off on, earlier this week they released a little snippet of the Guardians of the Galaxy blooper or deleted scene for the Blu-ray that's coming out not later this month, but at the beginning of next month, December 7th. And it's everybody getting into a dance-off. I saw that, and that basically brought a smile to my face, because everyone gets in on it, except for Rocket and Groot, because, CG. And y'all saw it? What are your thoughts on it?
It had to happen. Yeah, I'm surprised. If they had not done that as a blooper, I would have been like, no, why wouldn't they have just gone with it? And I'm glad it's in there. It looks fun. It's cute.
Hopefully the Blu-ray release is going to come out with a lot more bloopers so we can enjoy.
Well, of course, that was just like a brief one of them. Hopefully there'll be an extended blooper reel like the Avengers one, which was pretty hilarious.
Yeah, I think this one's going to be full of it, and I think that's actually going to be just as entertaining as the movie itself.
Well, there's a lot of funny people in it, so...
Exactly.
Well, there's...
Batista.
So, that guy, he went to my go-to move whenever someone points at you in a dance-off. I forget what it's called. The Cracker Jack? Something like that. All right, so...
We're talking about Peanuts?
Oh, yes, so they released a Peanuts trailer. The second Peanuts trailer from the teaser from earlier this year.
Yes.
So in this one, it's a scene of Snoopy flying around to a non-classic Charlie Brown song, but it still works within context. And it ends with, Charlie Brown being a blockhead.
Like usual.
And it was fun. It looks really good, surprisingly.
I'm enjoying the art more than I thought I would.
Well, it's because it feels very classic while still being very modern. And it's really interesting how they pull that off.
And it's in 3D, right?
Yeah, it's going to be in 3D, so I'm
3D,
wondering how the 3D is going to make me feel. But
who knows? But it's coming out next Christmas.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that turns out. I don't know if they're going to be retreading like the Christmas one, just taking out all the religious context of it, or they're just going to be
I love Linus.
just having just like a basic Charlie Brown story where like, Snoopy goes missing kind of thing, but they kind of bookended somewhere with like, the Christmas one or whatnot, because that's always fun. I do like that one.
It's all about Woodstock.
The Woodstock.
Oh, yeah, that's true. There's more.
Well, in the trailer, there's like 5 of them.
It was like 6.
Whatever. It doesn't matter how many of them are there.
Maybe it was a baker's dozen. It's 13. Remember.
And in other news, as of recording of this podcast, Smash Wii U, Pokemon Alpha Sapphire and Omega Ruby
Yes.
are coming out.
I thought he was going to get it wrong.
I completely forgot about it for a second. And the Amiibos are all coming out.
That's how I'm feeling. I'm forgetting all about Pokemon because it's the worst generation coming out.
Well, let's not go that far.
I'm getting it.
It is not, just because it is in theory the worst generation, does it?
You just said it. It is the worst generation.
In theory, it does not mean it's a bad game.
It has the worst Pokemon. It has
It's like
the worst
saying,
story.
but it's still a good game overall.
But it's still a great game.
Great
Let's
game.
not go assigning the great label to
It's a good
Ruby and Sapphire
opportunity to grab
generation.
those Pokemon with new movesets and new behaviors and whatnot, natures, and then incorporate it with whatever Pokemon you have now. But otherwise, that's the only reason you're actually buying it, is to get more Pokemon.
More like great reason for Nintendo to grab money out of your wallet.
That's it.
I think it's just because it's like, by the way, we didn't give you enough Mega Evolutions in X and Y. Here's more.
We could have done an update, but instead we're just gonna make money.
It's true. They're not even updating that.
Yeah,
That's great.
It's a Pokemon,
X and Y.
Pokemon company, putting their hands
No, they're gonna
in
have
your
to.
pocket.
I don't think so.
Why would they have to update X and Y?
They're gonna put an update on X and Y because they're gonna make the games be able to play with each other.
Yeah, but all their games could play with each other without requiring an update before.
But if they're gonna use the Mega Evolutions from one, they're gonna have to make an update so that the other one can register it as well. They can't just be like, because I'm playing X and Y, you're not gonna register.
I don't know.
this
See,
I think I
Mega.
could just make everyone play.
Ruby and Sapphire.
No, there's gonna be an update for X.
What has that? We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
They've made no mention of an update for X and Y.
We'll take your crazy theory and we'll test it once the time passes by, and then we'll be like, Kevin, you were wrong.
Yeah, and then when I'm right, everyone's gonna be like, I'm not gonna bring it up because Kevin was right.
Well, we'll say we're sorry, unlike you.
That's exactly where I wanted to go with that one. Any other news or anything coming out that we should talk about?
I think that's about it. The news is making us angry.
All right, join us in our next segment where we'll be geeking around as our main topic.
I think some of that needs to be cut.
This is Austin St. John. I played Jason, the original Red Ranger from television's Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Right now, I am geeking out at the Tower Podcast. Check it out, man. It's Morphin time.
And we're back. This segment, the Geeking Around segment, we'll be talking about things that we've been doing, geeky or otherwise, like Too Many Cooks. Who's seen that recently?
I think I've seen it a little too often. Thanks, Allie.
You can't watch it too often. That video is just great at the beginning, really kind of weird and stupid in the middle, and then great in the first half of the end, then kind of stupid again, and then just great.
It's all in all great.
Not all in all.
Well, if you've
overall,
seen it,
overall
if
great.
you've seen it more than once, okay, it's because you liked it.
Wait, are we talking about the best video of 2014?
No, we're talking about Too Many Cooks.
It's the best video of 2014.
No, I don't think so.
What other original thing have you seen that tops Too Many Cooks?
Yeah, and mind you, Coney was 2 years ago.
Yo, Cody's dead or is he still alive?
Oh my god. I can say there's some honest trailers I liked a lot more than Too Many Cooks, that I've watched maybe more than I've seen Too Many Cooks. Though Too Many Cooks is very catchy.
I think that's what's best.
And probably won't. And the funny thing is, we used it for our first episode inter-segment
And we'll
song.
probably never use it
And we're
again.
probably not going to use it for this episode's inter-segment song.
shame.
It's not for shame. It's just Too Many Cooks.
There's no such thing as too many cooks.
Apparently, according to the song, there can be.
Well, that's a fine. How do you
No, they
do
said
laugh
it.
track?
Because in the future, there is no such thing as too many cooks.
Oh yeah. In the future, there can never be too many cooks. I loved it. It's fun. I like how it's a parody of all the good old 80s and 90s sitcoms and how it evolved with through to the sci-fi genre. And then there's this weird
Then murder
in the middle, which was really awkward and out of
The thing is, the
place.
character's omnipresent during the whole.
That doesn't change the thing. The fact that it's still a very weird turn.
It is.
And then they go to Too Many Cooks in Space. It was just really fun. I liked how it's starts very Full Housey, and then it goes very Roseanne-y, and then it kind of does the whole, black people are in comedies too. And then they did the whole thing where cool people with the cool kid. Jeffersons, yeah. But that's even, the Jeffersons are earlier than that, the 80s, pretty
Maybe
sure.
the Cosby Show.
Yeah,
Yeah,
probably,
they had the
probably
Cosby.
more along the lines of the Cosby Show. Then they did a cop drama version of it. Oh man, it was a really fun thing. What are your guys' thoughts on the video, Kevin?
You're gonna say.
I liked it. It's catchy. The murder thing was completely weird. I think if they took that out, I think I would have still enjoyed it. If anything, I think I would have enjoyed it more. Then it was getting really crazy where the names were the people and the people were in the names. Those parts were really weird. Smurf, the cat robot. That
That
again.
shoots rainbows and hearts.
Yeah, it's all over the
And
place.
lasers from his eyes.
It was all over the place, but apparently he's a robot, but also bleeds at the end. Again, I think if they took away the whole murder aspect of all that, the thing would have been even better and catchy and stuck in my head a lot more. But that part just leaves a sour note.
Any ratings on 10?
6 on 10.
Okay.
The thing is,
6. How do you do's laugh track out of 10?
The thing is, I liked how, it started off all, it's a satire involved, and then just comes out of left field and just pummels you with this murderer.
I think that's more the satire. The early parts are more parody, but
The thing is, I really enjoyed that part because it really just came out of nowhere. I think really if that part wasn't there, I don't think I would have enjoyed it as much. I feel like if we remove that part, let's say you edit it and you remove that whole part and you watch it, you're gonna be like,
well, if the video was conceived without that part in the first place, it
Maybe-
probably would be I think it would be great.
if we had a controlled group and we could try it out, we can show both versions, maybe we could see.
No, but the video isn't conceived to be without the murder, because that part is very gruesome, very out of left
Yes.
field. It's kind of disgusting, goes on for really long, and then I mean, I could understand the creepy guy in the background kind of thing angle, but
That's one thing I'll give it. They did a good job. I didn't like it. I didn't like the murder part, but they did a great job putting him in the places slowly throughout the whole video. I think the first time you see it is when they start showing the cooks, or maybe just before when they show the second set of family.
Actually, no, I watched the video when they first, someone edited the video to show when he first shows up. When when they first introduced the daughter with the glasses, you can see his stomach popping on the side of on the side, and you can see a part of him also when they introduced the son as well. So from the onset, from the very beginning, he was in there.
Because I noticed him at the back when they're doing the cop thing, when the girl cop was there, you could see him in the background, just kind of sneaking, but it's a bit blurry. So no, that was well done. Still wish they didn't did the murder thing though.
I feel like if I had seen the video without it first and then seen the one with the murderer, I would have always enjoyed the one with the murder in the middle because
that says so much.
No,
about
but
you.
the thing is, it's just it really gets you by surprise. Just how quickly it turns really gruesome, and I think in itself, it's something great.
I think it would have still worked out right when it gets to the end where the doctor is getting infected by the whole thing getting too catchy and he's kill me now. That makes sense because throughout the whole thing it's really catchy and it gets catchier and catchier. So the fact that he catches it and starts getting his name showing up, I think without the murder thing, that would have been yeah, that's exactly what's happening.
Rating?
I'm gonna give it an 8 Smurf out of 10.
I stole my rating. I'm just kidding.
With or without the rainbows?
Obviously with
the rainbows.
Obviously with the rainbows. Ali, your thoughts?
Best video of 2014, closely followed by Unexpected Thug Life.
Thug Life was fantastic.
Which is also 2013, 2014, whatever. I saw it this year, so I'm gonna give it best video so far this year. Too Many Cooks. I give it 10 on 10.
10 out of 10 what?
Well, 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
Just 10 out of 10?
It's 10 out of 10 for this one.
Okay, I guess my thoughts on it, I really love these good old catchy old school sitcom themes. I mean, I have a bunch of them on my iPod. It's really fun to listen to, and I was really getting into the video. The murder thing comes out of nowhere and hits me in a not as much as you enjoyed it way, but I understood.
Sorry if I enjoy murder.
Wow.
Yeah, I enjoyed those parts. I like the sci-fi theme they did. That one was really fun.
The throwback cartoon.
The throwback to the G.I. Joe cartoon.
G.I. Joe, yes.
The throwback to like the Coach cartoon where it's just a bald eagle and it's just like this instrumental version of the song.
What was the
Oh,
fuck
that's
about?
Dallas. That's Dallas.
Yeah.
Is that Dallas?
It is Dallas.
Okay, because I felt like they did something similar with the Coach theme. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Overall, I guess I would give it the entire video. I guess I'll give it 8 turn and smiles out of 10. Kevin, what have you been geeking on?
Been catching up on anime. There's a few of them that I had stopped watching and I caught up. But there's a show that I've been watching and I'm still a miss on if I like it or not, and that would be Star Wars Rebels.
I have not seen it yet. Tell me about it.
Star Wars Rebels is dealing with a new set of characters. This dates right after episodes 1, 2, and 3. All new characters. You've got this kid who's kind of introduced as sort of like the Aladdin-ish character where he's trying to like steal to survive but still wants to help.
Because he's brown.
Is he brown?
Yeah, he's definitely brown.
Okay. Apparently you're the racist for
He's definitely Middle Eastern.
They kind of get caught in the middle where the kids seeing the gang, the new characters, the new gang, taking items from the Empire. I don't know what crates, but just grabbing a bunch of crates from them.
It's weapons.
And the kids realizing that, and he's kind of trying to take it away from them as well. Gets mingled into it, and then you kind of have the group pulled together. The next episode shows one of them being a Jedi.
So, has Darth Vader or Obi-Wan Kenobi shown up in these first few episodes yet?
Young Obi-Wan Kenobi shows up as a hologram inside a holocron.
Yep.
That can only be opened if you're force sensitive.
Which
But
the
that's
kid
another
unlocks.
story.
That's another story.
Which the kid unlocks during one of the episodes.
Overall, are you enjoying the show or are you jury's out?
Not as much. I'm not at the same level as I did with Clone Wars. Clone Wars, although started slow as well, it picked up much faster, but I think it worked because we knew the characters. We knew where they were going with the story. We knew kind of where it was going to end as well. More interesting to see how all these characters get put together. Why are the Jedis working with the clones? Because we know they turn on them later. So like that worked really well. You kind of got used to the different characters, and they could bounce off one character to another. Yoda in one episode, I think Shakti in another one. Like it bounced around the Jedi Masters, Anakin, Obi-Wan. So that worked really well. Palpatine even. This one, brand new characters. You don't really know them that well. It's in between a section of the movies where we know sort of like it's being like that has been established, but you're following this now with characters nobody really knows. You have no real attachments, and so far it's not as strong. I'm not really attached to any of the characters. I don't care too much about them.
Did you marathon Clone Wars or did you watch it as it aired week to week?
The
first season, more specifically.
I started watching it and I stopped, but I did enjoy it. It wasn't so much that I stopped because I didn't enjoy it. It's just other engagement happened. But then I did marathon the rest of it and I ended up enjoying it from that and kind of slowed down again. When they had the Netflix exclusive stories as well, I kind of picked it up again as well. On and off. I think if you marathoned this one from where they are right now for Star Wars Rebels, I think you'd be in the same boat as I am right now. It's just not that great.
You drop it while it's hot. It's not that hot.
Well,
it's cold.
Some shows require more than the first half of a season to get good. Some shows can be really good from the start. You know, not all shows can be Young Justice, which is awesome. But side note,
they show the kind of the big bad for this series,
the Inquisitor.
And like, oh cool, his lightsaber twirls.
Okay.
That's it.
Yeah, that's an impressive twirl. You know, he's definitely a gymnast.
When you say twirl, do you mean like
a
spin?
baton?
Oh, what? Okay, that's...
he kind of holds it, and
There's like a gyroscope.
Yeah, and it just starts spinning around, and he just,
I thought you meant like a corkscrew.
No,
that would have been bad.
Anyway,
So you had the fight where he shows up and like, oh, he's supposed to be intimidating, and then you're like, okay, and then what? Not really anything at the moment. So far, there's nothing that's been grabbing.
Okay.
it's pretty boring.
Each episode's essentially like they're trying to do something, and then that's it.
Sebastian, anything you've been geeking on or want to talk about?
I've been watching anime.
Which one?
Amagi Brilliant Park.
How is that going?
It's still fantastic. I love every single episode so far.
I've heard that it's not very much about how to save the park, but just the crazy antics that occur.
That's
in
it.
the park.
It's just day to day.
Like they're not even trying to save the park anymore.
Well, they're trying. It's just that they're pretty much from a magical world, and so magic stuff happens. It's just the way they're dealing with it and like how it affects the park. But they're definitely working on getting the park improved. It's just that all this stuff happens around them. So
Any stories of note or any funny moments of note? Like say something really funny you would tell someone to say. You need to see this part in the anime
well, you gotta put me on the spot like this.
because it's fun.
I don't know. I just feel like
Overall.
the main character, okay, the way he is, how narcissistic he is, just his way of communicating with other people, it's really funny. I just really enjoy like how he interacts with all the other characters because he's the main character, and just the way he interacts with everyone else, he finds them more or less inferior to him. He likes picking fights with them, but not picking fights just to like demean them, but also to motivate them and boost their morale.
Yeah.
A bit of reverse psychology, and I like.
On a comedic scale of Haruhi to K-On!
Yeah, but Haruhi
Where
was a
would you-
comedy.
It was kind of a comedy. I'm sure it's in like terms of character comedy because there were funny moments in both shows. Well,
Yeah,
both shows.
obviously, yeah.
So in terms like where on the spectrum does it fall in the middle where there's like a good mix of both the comedy / normal or the straight up crazy comedy of like did I say K-On! I meant Lucky Star.
Oh.
One thing is,
Sorry, Lucky Star, because Lucky Star is very like frenetic at some points.
it's definitely closer to the Haruhi wise. Lucky Star, when I saw it, I enjoyed it, but not as much as I enjoy how I enjoy the Haruhi, nor how much I'm enjoying Amagi Brilliant Park.
Interesting. For me, I guess the one thing I've been sort of geeking on / watching is Scorpion.
I haven't seen last episode, so don't spoil it.
Okay. Actually, the last episode was pretty good. You meet someone in the past. You go back into somebody's past. Not really go back, but you see their past because it's all emoted very well in the last episode. So you're really going to like the last week's or this week's episode.
It's this week's episode,
It's
yeah.
really fun. So basically, it's about a team of geniuses, super geniuses to some extent. So you have...
It's a high IQ show.
So
but not
this
really.
can be, well, it's a high IQ show that isn't very high IQ in
At
some
all.
regard, but that's what makes it fun because it's just for everybody. This one of the smartest men in the world. He has the 4th highest recorded IQ. It's higher than Einstein's. He tells you this at the beginning of every episode.
Yeah, but he has done less than Einstein, I'm just saying.
He hasn't done as much, but he could do well. He's done more day-to-day things, you can say. He basically assembles a team of super geniuses. So he assembles a behavioral specialist who's like super good at like reading people, but also has a gambling addiction and things like he has a gambling addiction, a bit of a sort of.
He has a personality.
It's implied that he had a
disorder
drinking
also.
problem as well at some point, but they don't really touch upon that anymore. And then he has a mechanical prodigy who's basically able to like reverse engineer or like fix
Anything.
almost anything mechanical. And then he has a human calculator essentially who can do complex equations in his head and to many different things.
And he has a T-1000 with him also.
And then there's Catherine McPhee playing Catherine McPhee, Paige, who is the normal who basically translates the world for them because they have very low
They're
emotional...
socially inept.
Yeah, they have high IQ but low EQ, emotional quotient.
Except for the human calculator.
Yeah, well, because he's basically your de facto like nerd geek. Well, he has an affection for a comic character you see in one episode, and he has basically the highest, to some extent, emotional EQ out of them. He gets excited very easy, but he also is like a complete neat freak.
Yeah,
So he's a germaphobe, and
He's
so
a crippling germaphobe.
Well, it's more depicted early on that he's a crippling germaphobe, so you can see that some things has changed, obviously, from the pilot to where they are now, like 6 or 7 episodes later.
Has to be the kid.
Catherine McPhee's character, Paige, has a kid who's a genius, and in the first episode, they meet her and the kid. They basically say, we can help you understand your kid as long as you help us understand
Understand the
people, to some extent. Because even though the behavior specialist is good at analyzing people, he's very
Bad at
blunt.
interacting.
He's very blunt, and he doesn't really interact well with people to some extent. He just knows how to read them. So they basically go around solving mysteries. Well, they don't go around, but they end up getting involved in like heavy, high-tech-y, sometimes involving other geniuses, any other geniuses, sometimes leading to murder. the fifth or sixth episode, they're involved in like an art heist episode. It's one of the best episodes because of the way it uses the flashback motif. So that one was really interesting. All the characters are being developed slowly, but in a still fun enough way. They all have their fun quirks. It's a very fun show, and you don't have to take it at face value. If you try to take it at face value, that is a mistake. You should just enjoy it for being fun science.
They keep saying that it's based on his true life, but
it's inspired, not based. Inspired. The word they can say when they basically make up everything but they use the guy's name.
We'll use his name, and we'll use the fact that he didn't make an organization with a bunch of smart people. But you know what? After that point, whatever. We'll do whatever we want.
So that one's a fun show. Anything else you'd like to talk about, Sebastian?
Anime-wise, there's another anime I'm watching. The English version of the name is Parasyte the Maxim. I don't know what that means.
It's just Parasyte.
No, depends on... Because if you go on Anime Fave, it shows up as Parasyte the Maxim.
Well, essentially, it's the Parasyte anime based on the Parasyte manga.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying it more than I thought I would.
I heard it was very gory.
It's a bit gory. Like, I don't care much about the gore, more about how development of the main character and how he's coping with, his hand being a parasite.
Did it turn into a penis in the first episode?
I don't remember.
Because I know that happens in the first... I read the first chapter, and it's just like...
I think they might have censored it, or he's talking about becoming one. The main character's like, no, what are you doing? Stop it.
Okay, because I remember in the first one, it's like in the first chapter I read way back when. So what happens is there's these parasites from another world come over, and the one that gets attached to the main character doesn't take full control. It only manages to take control of his hand.
It takes control of the hand because it couldn't get into the ears to go to the brain.
He missed his mark.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The main character likes to sleep with his earphones on.
No.
And maybe, I don't know, blocking all the other orifices he has.
Basically, I think he had something in his ear, and he couldn't see it from when he was landing. So instead of landing, he missed and ended up, taking over control of his arm. So now he has to work together with him to stop the invasion.
I don't know if I'd be that interested in that. It sounds a little too weird.
It's pretty weird.
It is pretty weird, but I like the character development more than the rest of the premise, the aliens and whatnot. I'm more interested in character development. The main issue, with most anime, is that there's very little character development. Yeah. It's all, there's a lot of fan service out there for, a bunch of anime, so I'm really interested in character development as the key point telling me an anime. I'm enjoying his development throughout the series.
I'm hearing it's one of the top fave animes of this season. A lot of people like it. It's not for everybody, but if you know you're not going to like it, you probably won't like it. It's more like, say, an American fan. You want to say, oh, here's an anime you could watch that, it's anime, but it kind of does enough gore, it kind of does enough character development that people can enjoy it. Then I would recommend this. I
guess you can classify it more or less in horror.
It's horror, but there's some crazy stuff that happens. Obviously, they cut away. One of the scenes I saw pop up randomly once was someone's basically a parasite basically opens up into a flower head or a Venus flytrap, and then eat someone's head off.
No.
Well, the heads definitely morph and cut stuff.
Yeah, it's not Terraformars where you'll basically cut and you'll see the blood go out of the neck kind of thing, but it's very much the mouth will open and then you'll see the person looking and it'll kind of go dark kind of thing. Yeah. That kind of idea.
I'm curious if a lot of these animes have come out because of
Attack on Titan?
Yeah.
This one is a surprise, probably because of how Attack on Titan is doing, but there's also been this general shift. They release a horror anime at least once every 2 seasons kind of thing, and it just maybe was Parasyte's turn because they're oh, okay, well, people are getting into the horror genre now. It might more be Tokyo Ghoul, which I think came out the season before. No?
I don't know.
Might have things to do with it.
Last season, but
I know people really like Tokyo Ghoul.
I enjoyed it. I liked it a lot.
Even people I know who don't watch as much anime, or who do and watch more westernized things and things like that, have put Tokyo Ghoul up there.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not that big on horror. I mean, I think the closest horror thing that I enjoyed watching was Another.
Oh, okay.
Another, and that was because of episode 3. I remember I'm another horror, it's not my thing. The intro's done by Ali Project, the Japanese band that always sounds the same. I was okay, Another's, it may be interesting. I've heard good things about it, and I think I was just listening to someone talk about it, and they're just watch until episode 3. That's when things get real. And in episode 3, I don't want to spoil it, but it's pretty gruesome. You're just what the F? And I'm like, I gotta watch the rest of the show. Unfortunately, I have to wait week to week, and the ending isn't very satisfying, but the show is still somewhat enjoyable, and they did add their moments in the anime from what I can understand. But Parasyte!
I'm gonna say it's not for everyone, but you know what? If I had to rate it so far, you know, a 7.5, which is a good grade. It's a great grade.
I guess
anything below 5 is garbage, but 7.5, okay, it's right there in the meat.
It's like the new average.
It is.
That works. Another not very geeky thing, but I've been really enjoying, Benched.
Yes.
The first 4 episodes are out. Have you seen the first 4?
Yeah, I've seen
Oh man.
everything.
So the first 4 episodes are out. It's about this lawyer in corporate law who ends up causing a mess
A big
at her
mess,
old company.
She
And
auto-destructs her career.
She self-destructs in a sense, and not because she was bad at her job. She was good at it. It's just that she got passed up for a promotion and took it out on the entire company at a company function and was barred from ever working in corporate law and by all the companies. And the story explodes. She broke a vase over Elton John's head is the story, but really she just broke a vase given to
by
her
Elton John.
to the company by Elton John and things like that. So she ends up becoming a defense attorney.
A defense attorney, yeah.
A public defense attorney. So she's gone from being high class, quote unquote, to very, like, you know, low middle class, because she's still a lawyer at the end of the day, right? Having to deal with all the struggles of, you know, not having all the perks she used to have and still being
All the money,
that
like her entire lifestyle, pretty much.
basically has changed completely. And you get to meet some fun characters. If you've seen Better Off Ted, the main character from that actor from that is in it, and he's very charismatic. And now they're in, like, the last few episodes are developing more of the
Like the rest of the
law
team,
the
yeah.
rest of the law team. Her boss is hilarious. It's like, how long do you have before your next trial? An hour. You're screwed, kind of thing. He's funny. He's kind of the jaded older attorney who leads the group, and he believes in his job, but he's like, he just doesn't care anymore. He doesn't care enough to, like, he cares enough to do his job, but he doesn't care any more than he needs to. And the show is just fun. The situations they get into, she gets into, and the rest of the group. Characters have very good charisma with each other.
Yeah.
So that was a really fun show.
Great chemistry between the cast.
Gotham, also. I finally caught up with that. I was a few episodes behind. The last few episodes have been amazing.
Yes.
I did.
It's nice.
Did I see this week's episode? I don't know if I saw this week's episode.
I
but-
saw this week. Apparently, I missed one before it, so I have to rewatch that.
Yeah.
But the Penguin is stealing the show.
I know early on I wasn't a big fan of Bruce Wayne's kid actor.
Well,
He's
yeah.
getting better.
It's a learning curve.
The actress they got for Selena Kyle is a better kid actor or young actor than the Bruce.
Yeah.
I think it's I find her very annoying.
Well, that's her character type.
I know,
It's
but-
because she's too young to be played off as sexy. So everything she's saying is just kind of awkward if you think of, like, well, when she's Catwoman, all of it's going to be, like, sultry, sexy. But he's like, now it's like, you too young. I am not touching that kind of thing. Nigma has stopped talking in riddles. He's just now a quirky nerd. And they're starting to now see things, like, the more, like, his whole compulsions and whatnot a little bit better. These last few episodes have been just off the charts better than, like, the first few.
Yeah, the first.
And even the first few were just fun, but these last few, oh man.
But I will say that, like, I liked how the actor who plays the Penguin was being portrayed through the first few episodes, and it was definitely getting me hooked into it. The recent episodes, excluding the one that I missed, which I have to catch up on, but the ones with the Penguin in it is just amazing. Like, I like how everything got planned. I like how everything got involved in this with the character, and it works. Like, it's awesome how they're really making me like the Penguin, because in the animated series, in the comic books, I really didn't like it.
I've always loved the Penguin because I love penguins.
That's a horrible excuse.
It's because of the movie with Danny DeVito, you know, and the penguins. It's just like, oh man, I wish I could get an army of penguins.
This is not the Danny DeVito Penguin. This is, like, really, like...
I love the Danny DeVito penguin, but I like this penguin also.
They make this guy conniving, planning. He's thinking several steps ahead. It's crazy. It makes him feel like everyone who's played the character before didn't feel like a worthy villain to Batman, but this one feels like he's sort of playing on Batman's level to some extent. So I really enjoy that character. I think the show has improved by leaps and bounds in just the last few episodes alone. Definite enjoy.
Yep.
Do you guys want to talk about Sword Art Online?
No.
I don't mind.
No.
Sword Art Online sucks.
Yes.
Ugh.
Oh my god, I can't
It's
believe
so
I'm
bad.
watching it.
It's so bad.
Why am I still watching it?
Because you're so far in that
I know. There's 4 episodes.
completionism.
There's 4 episodes left.
It's just a really
I just need
bad
to finish it and never watch it again. When season 3 comes out, I'm gonna be like, nope,
And yet you'll probably watch it.
What was the problem with the
not.
Excalibur arc?
nothing,
Um,
absolutely nothing.
I think it was to show that the game,
Can modify
because
itself.
the game was released so soon after Sword Art Online, based on the same engine as Sword Art Online.
The game is pretty much taking.
It it had auto-generating quests, and it was basically developing on its own for probably a future arc. It was probably just a seed arc for a future arc, and the current one is just to introduce a new female to the harem.
Because if I'm...
Is it really? Because he's the main character is not even going to be there. It's all following, what's her name?
Asuna?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. In the manga, it's Asuna and this new character that they're introducing.
Oh, okay.
So that's why I think it's leading in that.
So they're giving Asuna a
Yuri harem.
A Yuri pairing? Ooh.
So I think that's where it's going now, and it's just been kind of a slow setup to do that. I agree, though, that
Excalibur was useless.
I found it went too fast. It didn't work out too well. And yeah, I think I am watching it still because... I think I'm still watching it still because of what the first season... I still liked the first season fully. I liked the full story of it, and I think if this story was starting the way it was, I don't think I would continue watching it. It's really... I'm still attached with the characters from the first season. That's the reason why I'm still watching it. It is not holding the same candle. It's not holding the same light as it did before at all.
Why can't it be like Log Horizon, which is just consistent?
Log Horizon has been doing something different. I'm kind of waiting for them to go back to what Shiroi is doing.
Yes, they
all we know is that he keeps dying now.
That's not true.
He just wiped for the first time, so he's probably going to wipe a couple more times.
It probably just one. We don't know. We don't know because they're probably going to come back to it. But right now they're focusing on, not Asuna.
The assassin girl.
The assassin girl. I forget her name. They're focusing on her story and how she's finally coming out of her shell. It's like the intro has been showing us. So a few things I want to say about Log Horizon is that, one, I think this season they're going to go back to people's real life a lot more. Because there were glimpses in season 1. Like, you knew, like, the samurai kid, that the reason why he probably doesn't want to go back, You can see, like, you saw glimpses of them outside the game, but now I feel like they might delve more into why they probably don't mind living and like existing in this world. Another thing is, one thing I wanted to say also about Log Horizon is when the second season got announced, I was like, yay, please just bring back the same opening. Because they never do that, but wouldn't it be so awesome if it was Database again? Because that song just works so well.
You know what? They changed the visuals and it was great.
You know what's great about Database? I saw it the first time, and then for every other episode, I just skipped it.
I do that for almost every anime.
This is one of the few animes where I enjoy listening to the entire song. Database, just living in the database.
I listened to it and I was like, skip.
No, I
you gotta listen to it. Honestly, I don't blame you. The first, when I was marathoning, so when I was marathoning it on Crunchyroll, I couldn't skip because of buffering.
Crunchyroll is horrible for buffering.
Well, for buffering, yeah. So I would basically listen to the entire thing through, and the first few times I was like, not bad, and then just like for some reason, like by the 10th or 15th time I've heard it, I was just like, I love this song.
I like it a lot too, actually.
I don't know why, but I'm listening to the Amagi Brilliant Park intro.
But
it's a lot of shows that I like. I would skip the intro.
Yeah.
But for some reason, I'm watching this one. I don't know. It kind of reminds me a bit of like Haruhi.
Maybe that's more than anything. It is Kyoto Animation, and they do tend to do good opening, and they do tend to have good opening songs to go along with them. I don't blame you for listening to that. With Haruhi, I did like the ending better.
I just want to mention one more thing I want to mention this for Log Horizon, sort of in par with Sword Art Online. Sword Art is not doing well with trying to introduce new elements. Log Horizon's doing a great job, especially like now they're introducing like, the flavor text is actually affecting things, and they showed an episode where it really caused an issue, as well as the hint that the apocalypse is still ongoing.
Yeah.
So Log Horizon's doing a good job progressing with.
It does a better job at its pacing compared to Sao.
I will say I did stop for a few weeks because the beginning part of the assassin, like the city murderer arc was going on, was a bit not to my thing. It felt a bit slow.
Yeah, I agree.
But it was only for like an episode 2, and I just stopped. But then I marathoned like 3 episodes in a row. And Log Horizon is great week to week, but it's you kind of just want to watch it all at once because it just feels like so many things are happening that you just want to watch it all at once.
I did that recently just because of the dubbed Log Horizon. So yeah, it's definitely a lot better marathoning than it does on its own.
I did go through the first season in 2 days.
Yeah, you see?
Easy.
Enjoyable. Has anyone been reading anything lately?
I read books.
I read books too, but not lately.
I read Across the Rubicon, which it's a history book more or less, so you guys wouldn't get it.
Oh, excuse me, Mr. History Hipster.
No, I agree. I'm not going to understand this.
The thing is, they're talking about pretty much the fall of the Roman Republic before it became the Empire. So the entire history span from like when they first kick out the Etruscans all the way to until Augustus Caesar becomes emperor.
Is it a straight up history book or is it fictional history?
It's not fictional. It's all based on very much the events, but the way it's written is...
It's a fictional story set as in the... So it's a fictional story, but with...
No, it's not fiction at all. It's...
Embellishing?
It just adds more, and like it's just the way it's written, because it tries to delve a bit more into like what is known about these historical figures, you know, because a lot of these historical figures did have a lot of stuff written about them. So you know, it just makes a bit of assumptions about their personalities and the choices they made, because we know more or less the choices that they did make and how it led to the downfall of the Republic.
I slowed down, but I was reading the Dresden Files, so it's about it's a very noir, like neo sort of modern fantasy about a wizard who lives in
Dresden?
No. His name is Harry Dresden. I forget where he lives.
Of course, it's Harry.
You're
You're a wizard, Harry.
You're a wizard, Dresden.
You're a wizard, Dresden, and also an otter.
What?
So I've been reading the Dresden Files a while ago. I'm going to start picking it back up. I'm several books in. It's about a wizard, and he basically goes around solving paranormal mysteries involving vampires and ghosts and demons and
Ghouls and goblins
and all the like. So it's really fun. I'm gonna probably finish the book I started like months ago and go ahead and read that. Manga wise, I just still haven't finished Naruto.
One Piece came out today. So good.
I have to definitely catch up on One Piece. That was fun.
How do you have to catch up to One Piece? You have to be reading it weekly.
If you saw how many things I have to do in a given... how many things are on my list to do. One Piece, I'm trying to get there.
List.
It's just on my to-do list. One Piece is... I have to get to it, but it's just like sitting at my computer for a long enough period to do that.
One Piece should be the first thing you do.
Not when you're months behind.
Andrew's to-do list: having to go to work, having to pay bills, having to edit the episode. One Piece is somewhere down the line.
Before going to work, I was like, I think I have enough time to read this week's chapter of One Piece.
Yeah, I woke up. 5
Go.
minutes later, I'm like, oh man, I gotta go catch my bus. Okay, maybe not 5 minutes later, 15 minutes later. But I still have to do stuff between that. No time for One Piece. I'm on vacation next week, so I will basically get a chance. I will basically catch up with One Piece.
Next episode. What Andrew caught up to?
Oh god. If we could do an entire episode next week on just what I had time to watch because I was on vacation.
For the next 10 episodes of this podcast, it's what Andrew has been catching up on.
You know that's right. I guess that's a few of the things we've been geeking around this week.
More or less.
More or less this week and beyond. Join us.
Or don't. It's your imperative. We'll be back with all the information on how to contact us and our website and such. So stay tuned.
Yes. And we're back. That was episode 2 of Geeking Out at the Tower podcast. I'm Andrew.
Kevin.
Zeb.
And Ali kind of ditched us halfway through the Geeking Around segment, so he's not here to say anything. If you want to join us, you can join us at GOATTcast, C-A-S-T, at gmail.com. You can visit our website at goattcast.wordpress.com.
A work in progress.
A work in progress indeed, though we've made some headway on it in the last week. Thank you, Sebastian. Also find us on Twitter at GOATTcast, and soon to be Facebook
and
Instagram, maybe not an Imager, but a Tumblr.
I swear, if you said MySpace, I would have been like, that's it, go home.
Why not MySpace?
Why not MySpace?
Great. Thanks for listening, and have a good day.
Or evening.
Or whatever.
Have a good
Have a good.
Have a good.
Have a good one.
All right.
There you go.
Bye.